Overnight, we saw something truly remarkable and stunning, and to many people, upsetting, as the president and his allies are trying to out the whistleblower, reveal the identity of the person who initially raised concerns about the president's phone call with Ukraine and asking to investigate domestic political opponents. Joining me now is Independent Senator Angus King of Maine. Senator, thank you very much for being with us. I want to play for you and for our audience once again what Senator Rand Paul said last night on stage, side by side with the president, because I think there's something at many levels here that is of concern. Yes, the president and his allies have been trying to get the identity of the whistleblower out there, but I wanted you to listen to the way Rand Paul is doing it.
The whistleblower needs to come before Congress as a material witness because he worked for Joe Biden at the same time Hunter Biden was getting money from corrupt oligarchs. I say tonight to the media, do your job and print his name.
So, first of all, there's no evidence for what Rand Paul is saying there on the facts and the arguments he's making, but calling on others to release the identity of the whistleblower. He knows that releasing the identity is against the law and dangerous. What did you see there?
Well, it's deeply troubling and really disappointing. Number one, the whistleblower's identity and what they have to say at this point is totally irrelevant to this investigation. It's like a person walking by seeing smoke coming out of the upstairs windows of a house and they call the fire department. The fire department comes and fights the fire. Who called the fire department doesn't matter if there's a real fire. And this whistleblower, I went back and read the complaint last night. Virtually everything in that complaint has now been verified in public testimony, particularly the transcript of the partial transcript. We don't even know if it's a real transcript, but the partial transcript of the call confirms exactly what the whistleblower said. So who it is, I don't care if it's Tom Brady, it doesn't matter, because the investigation is what happened. This is a distraction, John. This is an effort. And if the name comes out, they're going to spend a week finding, that his grandmother voted Democratic for Franklin Roosevelt or something. It has nothing to do with the facts, and it's simply a distraction. They're all I can go on and on about how wrong this is in terms of people. You want people to come forward. You want to respect the law. And it's really, disappointing is too mild a word. It's terrible, and it's terrible for the country.
What are the consequences, perhaps, for the safety of the whistleblower?
Well, number one, they have to worry about their job. This is a person that took an enormous risk to come forward. And by the way, again, if you read the complaint, which you can go online and find, they were very careful to cite the law, to do everything right, to submit the complaint to the Inspector General of the intelligence community, and then it went on to Congress. They followed all the rules. So there's professional retribution, but in this atmosphere that we're in now, there's danger. I think there's really serious danger to this person's life. Apparently, the FBI is already investigating death threats to this person, even though we don't know who it is. This is bad stuff. If something happens, if this name comes out by virtue of the pressure of members of Congress or the president or the White House, and then something terrible happens to them, it's on their heads. This is bad stuff, John.
And there was something I felt a little bit underhanded and small, more than a little bit, with what Senator Paul did there, because he's saying, media, you do it. Someone else should go do this.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it himself, it seemed to me, because he knows there are legal implications, but he wants someone else to carry his water for him.
Yeah, he didn't want to break the law directly on national television, so he requested that you do it. And I just, as you can tell, I'm a pretty mild-mannered guy, but this one, it just is infuriating. And again, to go back to the beginning, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who this person is. All they did was report what they were hearing, and now we've heard from the very people that can confirm those charges, and more evidence is coming out to confirm it. That's what's relevant to this investigation, not who this person is. I saw this crop up the first few days, and I think it's just terribly wrong and harmful to the country. Who's going to come forward the next time?
Senator, I want to ask you about the John Durham investigation into the origins of the Russia investigation. Now, Durham, when he was appointed, was widely seen by members of both parties as someone who's a straight shooter with a long record investigating. But the Attorney General's role in this is now being called into question as he travels the globe, pressuring other countries to get involved with this investigation. What do you make of that?
Well, I want to answer your question, but I also want to just say one other word. The president keeps saying, read the transcript. That's what I say. I would recommend anyone to read the transcript of that phone call and see if you think it was perfect, because it was all about investigating the DNC and investigating the Bidens. Now, as far as the Durham investigation, I frankly don't really understand it. I've worked on this issue on the Intelligence Committee with unclassified and classified material for almost 3 years. There is no doubt that the Russians interfered with our election, and the information that the FBI had in the summer of 2016, if they had not followed up, it would have been prosecutorial malpractice. They had to follow up because they had information that raised very serious counter-espionage concerns about another country trying to influence our election and having contacts with members of the Trump campaign. That's something you have to follow up. So I don't know what they're chasing. And the idea that now they're going to be a possible criminal investigation, I haven't seen anything in my work that suggests anything that would be remotely criminal. By the way, also, John, there was a lengthy, I think it was more than 100 pages, Inspector General report on the activities of the FBI specifically and Mr. Comey that basically said there were some lapses of judgment, but nothing illegal. And so here we are going over the same ground again, I think, again, as a distraction.
Senator Angus King of Maine, always a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks, John.
Thanks so much.